Right at the start, we meet Billy Taggart, a police detective who's just shot someone. Just a man with a gun and a body on the ground. Moments later, Billy is arrested. A cop in handcuffs. But the real question is, who did he shoot and why? Outside the courthouse, chaos. Crowds are shouting for justice, the media is everywhere, and nobody seems to care about the truth. They don't know if Billy acted in self-defense or out of rage. They just want a headline. Inside, his lawyer is rambling through a long, empty speech, and Judge looks so bored and angry. But somewhere else, behind closed doors, the city's mayor, Nicholas Hostetler, meets with Police Chief Carl. They're not talking about justice, they're talking about damage control. Because the man Billy killed wasn't innocent. His name was Mikey, a man who had raped a 16-year-old girl but walked free because there wasn't enough evidence. Billy knew that. He couldn't let it go. So he took matters into his own hands and pulled the trigger. Now the whole city is divided. Some call Billy a hero, others call him a murderer. And in the middle of it all, the mayor steps in, defending Billy publicly, calling him a man of courage. But here's the catch. The mayor doesn't see a hero. He sees an opportunity. The police chief warns him there's a witness ready to testify against Billy. The mayor's response is chilling. That witness must never make it to court. Why? Because the mayor has his own agenda. He's protecting Billy for one reason only, that mayor will send him on his dirtiest mission. Following this, the judge at the court hearing announces that Officer Billy killed Mikey in self-defense, meaning he cannot be punished. And now, Officer Billy is facing public scorn. After the hearing concludes, the mayor summons Billy for a meeting, greeting Billy as if he were a hero. But immediately, the mayor removes Billy from the police force. It's because this time they successfully made the evidence and witnesses vanish that were against Billy. They know they cannot hide this situation indefinitely. So these men are removing Billy, saving the police department from disgrace. Then, we jump to an unusual scene 7 years later, where Billy is now earning a living as a private investigator, having left his police career. His common cases involve investigating people's affairs. We also learn Billy has a girlfriend, Natalie Barrow, who happens to be a movie star. Billy, however, isn't a fan of Natalie's profession. The next day, Billy gets to his office, finding his assistant Caddy quite upset. The reason is that several clients haven't paid their bills. And Billy isn't chasing them for it. Feeling desperate, Billy finally calls the clients himself to ask for money. Yet most people dodge the subject when money is mentioned. That evening, Billy receives a call from the mayor. He prepares and heads over to the mayor's office. Upon arriving at the mayor's office, the mayor is there watching the news coverage with his buddies. On screen, Nicholas was delivering a speech right to the rival media. You see, the mayor is currently up for election for the position. In this race, the incumbent Mayor Nicholas and his competition Jack Valiant are running neck and neck. It's so close that nobody can predict who the next mayor will be. Nick has an associate named Mike, who owns a newspaper. He provides significant support to Nicholas Mike. The goal is for him to print positive stories about Nick and give him publicity. Shortly after this, Billy goes in to see Nick. Nick then reveals that he suspects his wife, Kathleen. He thinks she is sleeping with somebody else. And if any news regarding her affair gets out, then I lose the mayorship. That's why I need you to find out who Kathleen is sleeping with. And if you can, get me solid proof of it before the election. For handling this case, I'm prepared to pay you $25,000. Billy therefore agrees to accept the case. Following this, Billy begins tailing the mayor's wife. He soon confirms that Kathleen is definitely meeting somebody. But Billy can't manage to get a photo of the guy. So Billy assigns his assistant Caddy to the job as well. She tails Kathleen and discovers the truth. Kathleen is involved with a man identified as Paul Andrews. The shocking part is that Paul is the campaign manager for Nick's opponent, Jack. This suggests that some kind of plot is unfolding. Billy then tails Paul. He successfully gets a photograph of Kathleen and Paul together. This means Billy's task is complete. That night, Billy attends a party with Natalie. It was a party Natalie threw for her movie industry friends. It's here we learn that Natalie is actually Yasina's sister. And Yasina was the one raped and murdered 7 years prior. That was precisely when Billy was assigned the case. And that is when Billy first met Natalie. Then, gradually, these two grew close. Meanwhile, things are very tense between Paul and Jack. Jack complains that Nick has bought all the newspapers and media outlets. Everyone is singing his praises, and nobody is praising me. We're going to lose this way. Paul responds that he has a source. Through this, I am identifying Nick's vulnerability. Perhaps we'll find something that can ruin Nick's reputation, and we will manage to win. Of course, Paul is referring to Kathleen. She is Paul's secret source. Following this, Billy heads to a fundraiser party, one that Nick organized. But at this party, Billy runs into his old buddy, Murdoch. He was also a policeman. Billy jokes around, saying, "Murdoch, skipping out on work to eat here?" Murdoch replies that he's handling security for the Lanchester family. As it happens, the Lanchester family are good friends of the mayor. So, doing this job for them, I also get well fed. After that, the two friends begin reminiscing about their past. A waitress then approaches and tells Billy, "Sir, someone wishes to see you." Billy then heads to a hotel room. He was given the number by the waitress. It turns out, this room is registered to the mayor's wife, Catherine. She tells Billy, "I know that you've been following me, so it would be best for you to stop following me. You really don't have any idea what you're stepping into. Besides, your hero Mayor Nick isn't as clean as you think. Who would know that better than I?" Incidentally, while Kathleen and Billy are talking, the mayor spots him. He is absolutely furious. Billy then hands the mayor the photographs, the ones he had taken of Kathleen's affair. The mayor, in turn, gives Billy his money. Billy then exits the scene. Following this, Billy attends a movie premiere with his girlfriend. This film is Natalie's debut movie, but Billy was extremely shocked watching the film. The reason was Natalie had an extremely intimate scene in the film. This was something Billy could not tolerate. He couldn't stand his girlfriend being intimate with another person for a film. Billy, therefore, begins drinking heavily when the movie finishes. And this leads to a huge argument between Billy and Natalie. This fight caused them to break up. And as a result of this, Billy is heartbroken. But just then, he receives a call from Caddy. Billy immediately hurries to meet Caddy. He then learns that gunfire was reported at a location. Billy heads over to the scene of the incident. There, Billy's friend informs him that it looks like a robbery. In the event, 5 to 6 people were wounded, and 1 person was killed. Incidentally, the shocking detail is that the dead man is Paul Andrew himself, the man Billy was investigating. Billy is certain that Mayor Nick is behind this job. The police chief arrives right then. He tried to rob him for all the evidence against Mayor but got nothing. He pulls Billy aside and says, "Jack's campaign manager was murdered just 1 day before the election. What's that about?" Billy is completely lost. Carl says, "Look, I saw you at the mayor's fundraising party. The mayor paid you a large sum. And what a coincidence, Paul gets killed a few hours afterward. Plus you're now present at the crime scene. Did you kill Paul?" But Billy insists he has no involvement in any of this. "I'm only a private investigator, and I just tail people's wives." The chief responds angrily, "I am going to ruin Mayor Nick before this election. I won't allow a criminal to become mayor. And if you're involved in this at all, then you are absolutely going to jail." So Billy agrees to cooperate, and then they go to Jack's house, where Jack was drinking. The chief sobers him up and begins the interrogation. Jack then discloses that Paul had arranged to see Todd Lanchester, since Todd was prepared to expose Paul's secrets. But Paul was murdered instead. Jack explains that Todd's dad is a close associate of the incumbent mayor, and he is part of every single one of the mayor's plots. Jack is completely certain his friend Paul was murdered by Mayor Nick. Following this, the police chief tells Billy, "You get Jack out of here discreetly." So Billy complies. In the car, Jack confesses that he loved Paul very much, but he couldn't ever admit his love because of societal views. After that, Jack exits the car and walks off, and immediately, he delivers a powerful speech to Nick's media. "I am deeply saddened by Paul's death, but this election won't be impacted by his passing. This election is going to be totally fair." Kathleen is observing all this coverage. She is furious. How much can that man lie? And Billy is feeling the exact same way. He instructs Caddy, "Get me every detail on this Todd Lanchester, and find out what the deal is with Bolton Village." On some level, Billy now feels responsible for Paul's murder. so he rips up the check from the mayor. Next, Billy drives to Bolton Village. He intends to check out the situation on the ground. There, he spots a mural of Yesenia on a wall. It makes him flash back to the 7-year-old case. He decides to visit Yesenia's parents. Yesenia's parents are genuinely happy to see Billy there. Of course, these people are also Natalie's parents. Billy then informs them that he and Natalie have split. Following this, Billy heads to see Kathleen. He needs to figure out what is really happening. Kathleen says angrily, "When I tried to explain everything to you that night, you wouldn't listen to me, and all for a payday. Do you even realize? A good man is dead because of your greed." Billy replies that he will make Nicholas pay. "To do that, I must know the real story." Kathleen explains that he wasn't hired with the task of finding her lover. "In truth, you were given the task of finding my source. You see, I had some information. If it had leaked, the mayor would be finished. So I struck a bargain with the mayor. If you divorce me, I'll stay quiet. But the mayor hired you the very next day, so you could track down my lover, who was actually my information source, not my lover." Finally, Kathleen reveals that Nick intends to sell Bolton Village. From this, he is set to gain a profit of $4 billion. After this, Billy learns from Caddy. Todd is employed by Sam's construction company. Sam has contributed the most funds to Mayor Nick's campaign. Meanwhile, Sam's son Todd was a good friend of Paul. Realizing this, Billy starts probing Sam's construction company. That night, Billy breaks into Sam's company. There he discovers that Mayor Nick plans to tear down every building in Bolton Village. And he's planning to build new office buildings. Because of this, all the residents of Bolton Village are about to become homeless. Billy manages to steal a box. But on his way home, a man starts tailing Billy, and he successfully rams Billy's car. And he also makes off with the evidence box. Following this, Billy goes to see the police chief and reports that the mayor is planning to sell Bolton Village. But in this move, thousands of residents will be homeless. "Today, I finally managed to gather evidence against Nick, but someone attacked me, and he wrecked my car and took the evidence." The chief then says that they've found the attacker. He is none other than our old friend Murdoch, who's employed by Sam Lanchester. Incidentally, at this point we learn Kathleen's actual affair is with the police chief, not with Paul. Next, Billy goes to Todd's house, nabs him, and starts demanding answers from him. Todd explains that he can't stand his father Sam or the current mayor, Nick, because they are both corrupt men. "So I want to expose the mayor and my dad. That's why I was going to give the contract copy of the Bolton Village sales agreement to Paul, so he could meet Jack and expose the mayor and my father. But before he could do it, they had Paul killed. Just then, Murdoch arrives. His goal is to kill Todd and Billy. This is so they don't cause any problems before the election." Following this, a brawl between Billy and Murdoch erupts. In the fight, Billy beats Murdoch badly. But Billy can't stand all this anymore. He goes directly to confront the mayor, Nick, and states that he has some proof. "If it gets out, then you will be finished." That's right, before the election. You see, Billy has the Bolton Village sales contract. He's planning to blackmail the mayor and make him resign. But the mayor is also extremely cunning. He has already ruined Billy. The mayor asks Billy, "Why have you never questioned why I specifically picked you for my work?" But the mayor then says, "I also have something that can destroy you, and it's a video." And saying this, the mayor plays a video. In it, that specific scene was visible. In it, Billy had murdered Mikey 7 years back. And it is obvious from this video that it wasn't self-defense. In truth, Billy had chased down and killed Mikey. Apparently, a kid had filmed the whole thing. He was planning to give this evidence at Billy's court trial. But the mayor got this video by silencing that child. This was so he could control Billy. After this, the mayor says, "If you try to be clever, then I will make this video public, by which you will have to go to jail." Now, knowing this, Billy is completely stunned. But with a plan, Billy goes to meet the police chief, where he starts playing his conversation with the mayor, which he had secretly recorded. This means Billy has decided he is prepared to take down the mayor and surrender, and also to go to prison, because regardless of the context, he did commit a murder 7 years ago. And this truth needed to come out eventually. So Billy is prepared to face his past. Following this, on election eve, the police chief is arrested for his own crimes. This means, by default, Nicholas has lost the election. As Billy was drinking at the bar the next day, the chief, Carl, shows up there. He has arrived to arrest Billy. So, before they go, Caddy arrives and says to Billy, "Come soon, I will wait for you." And on that scene, this movie finishes.